but you not, and you calling time out. It's about being a team, and you don't seem to know how to do that with your own wife.
We've known from his birth because, like he said, I was standing in the delivery room after I had worked a double shift when he was born. Because I have been a grandmother, not a fake grandmother, fake father.
Seeing blood sisters in paternity court fighting over a man definitely couldn't have been on the list of reasons Judge Lauren decided to start paternity court. Blood sisters? Oh, we need to know what and where exactly things went wrong.
Hayes, you say that your sister, the defendant, claims to have a child with your husband of 10 years, and you have petitioned the court for a paternity test. And you are here to warn her that when he finds out her baby is not his today—
Holy Mary, Mother of Christ. For the fact that Miss Haya's husband stepped out of their marriage of 10 years is ridiculous. To make matters worse, he did so with another member of the Haya's family. These sisters genuinely are at each other's throats because of a cheat, but they prefer to look away from that aspect. What a shame.
I came home and found him and her in our bed naked, and I just, I can't believe it after everything I've done for her. I knew that they were sleeping together, but to put it in my face and be in my bed and me walk in and catch him naked, why would it be any different? She slept with my first husband and my second.
What? She slept with her sister's first and second husband, and she still gets the chance to stay in her new home? Maybe Ms. Hayes really doesn't care about her marriages. More importantly, Ms. Hayes doesn't care about her own mental health because they would make anyone mad.
And I didn't even know about my second husband until my dad
and she had
told
me around each of them in the same predicament.
So you're not denying this,
No.
Ms. Hayes? Just so the court can clarify, this was your younger sister?
Yes. I've had custody of this girl since she was 11. The choices that she made between—
That's a sad story from the senior Ms. Hayes. Probably she just couldn't bring herself to push her younger sister away, even when she's destroying her marriages and hurting her in the worst ways possible.
My life, myself, my morals, everything. And when I got clean,
every time you picked up a phone
when I got clean, I had been an addict and homeless for 15 years.
It wasn't your mom.
And I didn't know how to be respectful. I didn't know how to be a woman. I didn't know how to be a lady.
Another emotional story from the junior Ms. Hayes. But hey, Ms. Hayes says she couldn't go to her older sister to ask for sexual favors, even though she did come through for her in every other aspect. However, Ms. Hayes thought the best way to handle her sexual desires was to give free passes to her older sister's husbands.
Everything was great. We would live together, hang out together. I would hang out in her room, watch movies.
And at the same time, she's lying to him about things that I'm doing to get me and him to argue so him and her can go off and spend time together.
And at some point, she says, Corey, make my sister feel like a woman. I'm sorry. Maybe she did it for my best interest.
He came to me,
yeah.
and I said, do what you do.
Oh, that's a totally different turn right there. Ms. Hayes told her husband to make her younger sister feel like a woman, and she's trying to act like the victim? That's just over the top. Ms. Hayes Sr. and Jr. and even the husband that agreed to go for it should be blamed. These three individuals were out of pocket for that one.
Approaches you. Is there any part of you that just says, this woman has done a lot for me? That's one thing I'm just not gonna do.
I tell her today that I'm still grateful for her. I did not go about our relationship the right way again.
Yeah, right. At least some sort of decency could have come from younger Ms. Hayes' side, even if her older sister was in an open relationship or not. Going for it because her sister said so just seems like she had been thinking about it prior. Who knows if it had even happened before her sister's words.
Why do you believe if you've let them go off into the sunset, into this relationship, and you know they're together, why do you think he's not the father?
He has a 6-year-old son. Well, actually, he's older than 6 now, and he raised a son that he believed was his for 6 years.
Oh, so the man in question allegedly can't have children according to his wife of 10 years. Now this case is getting divided into so many parts. The sister's betrayal, impotency, and even a marriage on the brink of its end. Guessing Judge Lauren can help with just one, and that's knowing if Ms. Hayes' husband fathered her younger sister's daughter or not.
There are questions that you may not be this beautiful little girl's father. Now, are you also in question about that?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not gonna lie, deep down inside, I do have some doubts, and that is because of, I've been through this situation twice before.
Mr. Hills doesn't even feel remorseful. He's in court talking about how he's been a victim of paternity fraud twice, but he's cheering on Ms. Hayes' younger sister that the baby is his. Let's just get to the results because this family drama won't be ending anytime soon.
Comes to 10-month-old Kayla. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hill, you are her father.
Mr. Brock here seems like he's trying to get an easy pass to stop fulfilling his duty of being a responsible father to 2 daughters and another baby still in Ms. Almanza's stomach. It's a strange case, but trust Judge Lauren's paternity court and DNA test result to do justice to the situation.
Mr. Brock, you claim you have been supporting Ms. Almanza's 2 children for the last 5 years and are convinced they are not yours. You have petitioned the court requesting a paternity test to determine if you are the father of the children in question and the one she is currently carrying.
Ms. Almanza looks like she's in high spirits as she's smiling from ear to ear. It seems like Ms. Almanza knows something we don't know, seeing how she's even willing to accept the lie detector test. Maybe Mr. Brock needs to think about this paternity situation all over again.
After an 11-year relationship, do you believe the defendant has been lying and the kids may not be yours?
We've been dealing with each other for like 11 years or whatever, but the foundation of our relationship wasn't based on, you know, husband, wifey, this was somebody who I was messing with during the time I was basically ending a relationship.
Mr. Brock's doubts seem valid, but he isn't innocent too, though. Ms. Almanza was fairly in the right too. They weren't in an exclusive relationship, so she had the right to not want to be loyal to him, but a baby springing from the time there was more than one sexual partner is the uncomfortable part. But again, Ms. Almanza won't stop smiling. There may be more to her smile.
Before I was incarcerated, she told me that she was a certain amount of months pregnant or whatever weeks or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I agreed with it, whatever. But then when I got incarcerated, she had a doctor appointment, and the timing was off from the time she said she was pregnant.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, he asked me. He didn't say anything or deny my daughter. He just asked why the timing was off, because it's gone by weeks. It's not gone by months, how he was counting.
Again, Mr. Brock's doubt is valid, but that was just for one baby. How come he's doubting paternity for all 3 babies? And the worst part, as revealed by Ms. Almanza, is that Mr. Brock is still messing around like he did with her when they started. Who knows if he's just trying to wriggle his way out of being responsible for these 3 children? Who knows?
You're currently living together.
Yes.
You are obviously pregnant, and you just said he's still messing around?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Okay,
sure
that's
he
good, but
is. I'm pretty
refused
sure
DNA
he
test
is.
before, so it's like it's not.
How do
just-
you know that, Ms. Almanza? How do you know that?
He's
Running.
had a child with my relative. He's
Mr. Brock said he accidentally had a baby with Miss Almanza's relative when they had a timeout. Is this like a sport where players get timeout? Mr. Brock must be on something to think what he said made any sense. Also, Ms. Almanza says the woke Mr. Brock, requesting for DNA and making it seem like she didn't cooperate, wasn't as plain as he made it sound. Okay.
I mean, what else makes you doubtful about all these children? I mean, 11 years.
11 years and he doubts me, but he's the one that I've caught with text messages, and I'm pretty sure females pick him up from my house because he walks around the corner.
Did that man just say not blatantly in her face? Ow, that's embarrassing. Mr. Brock says not blatantly in her face, but she still got to know about them. Maybe he wasn't careful or hiding it enough, or maybe it's just a woman's thing to find that out. Ms. Almanza will have to answer that one.
Why is it that you keep going back to him?
I don't want my children to have a part-time father.
So let me ask you both this. What is your relationship like right now, Mr. Brock?
It's
We're
a
like
roller coaster
roommates.
ride. It's a
We're
roller
like
coaster.
roommates.
It's a roller coaster ride.
Okay. Ms.
Appreciate
Almanza,
that.
what is
If
the
he
state of
doesn't-
your relationship?
When it comes to him and me,
Ma Almanza not wanting her babies to have different fathers is nice, but at the expense of the particular father she chose, denying paternity is weird. Mr. Brock doesn't even believe he's their daddy, even though he was at the baby shower. How comforting.
Why do you doubt after 11 years being in a relationship with this woman?
From the foundational relationship, how it started, this is your child. If that wasn't in there, we wouldn't be here today. I can guarantee you that. You know what I mean? But when that was presented to me, I don't duck on none of my children.
So you feel like Ms. Almanza's
Judging from Mr. Brock's response, he definitely doesn't take their relationship seriously, as he prefers being with different women every other day.
You then said, I gotta step on up to the plate.
but if he doubts me so
Not
much,
step
why
up
is
to
he
the
still
plate.
having kids with me?
And you kept.
Why? Why is, well, to me, why is the question is asked by the deaf, dumb, and blind? We weren't in a relationship.
Huh? Ms. Almanza, the question is, why are you still having babies with him when he doesn't know how to control his sexual urges, not the other way around? And Mr. Brock's responses still seem out of place, so maybe we need to hear the DNA test results of those beautiful babies now.
It's to paternity for 5-year-old Victoria Brock. Mr. Brock, you are her father.
Nobody likes their partner cheating on them, but do married folks who stepped out of their marriage also get the right to be pissed about their side piece cheating on them? The answer to that should be a big no, because why is the pot calling the kettle black?
Gibbs, Miss Phillips, you are suing your ex-boyfriend for $1,000 in child care expenses you claim he has ignored since denying that he is the father of your 2-month-old daughter, Jordan, whom he refuses to meet. Today, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove he is the father.
$1,000 in child expense seems to be Ms. Phillips' problem, as she's in paternity court requesting for that from her supposed baby daddy. However, her supposed baby daddy isn't willing to cooperate to pay her the money. Mr. Givebys believes Ms. Phillips is a promiscuous woman, and that means the 2-month-old baby isn't his.
Tell me about your relationship with.
Well, Your Honor, I thought this was gonna be the best situation. I thought that he was actually the one for me, you know, and I think it started for me when, you know, he went to this convention, a spiritual convention, and he came home that night. He was just like, you gotta go. So
Okay, wait. I just must stop you. You're in a relationship.
A spiritual convention led to Mr. Gibby's wanting to throw Ms. Phillips out in the middle of the night. That's next-level wickedness. Anything could happen to that woman on the street. We need to hear more of this particular story.
So he takes me to a hotel. I'm in the car crying, boo-hooing. I'm like, why? You know, why? He was like, he can't do this no more. He gotta do right. So I was like, okay.
Okay, Mr. Gibbs, I have to ask you, is this true? Did you go home after the spiritual convention and put Miss Phillips out and take her to a hotel?
A lot of stuff led up to this event.
Not leaving with who you came to the party with is disrespectful for sure. But according to Ms. Phillips, she was trying to de-escalate the situation since she was closer to the family that had organized the event.
2 days later, I get a call from a mutual friend that says she was involved in the event.
I called you and told you.
My mutual friend told me first. They left and went to a party where I know what type of girl she is. She's a very promiscuous girl, put it like that, herself. So when she gets there, she's already in the car.
Maybe Ms. Phillips is promiscuous, but why was Mr. Gibbs stuck with a promiscuous woman to the extent of allegedly getting her pregnant? Mr. Gibbs could have left the relationship and let Ms. Phillips have a good time like she desires.
From where I was with, talking to a friend of mine outside during a party, and he was telling me, I was with this one girl, man. We was in the back seat, we doing it, and all of a sudden, a guy in a black car pulls up, and he was like, I said, the black car pulls up. He said, yeah. She told me to go ahead and let's get out because.
Whew. What exactly is even happening? Miss Phillips being overly sexually active and Mr. Gibby's returning the favor. Seems like a perfect match made from heaven. But Mr. Gibby's finding out his friend digged his woman is crazy though.
Relationship ever been positive?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, it's been good. A lot of times, like, cause there's been times that we actually did things together. I mean, we acted like a family. He had his 2 girls, I had my boy. We was, you know, we was doing things we were supposed to do in a relationship. We just had a real relationship. It just, when he get in that mind frame where he assuming that something happened, it turns sour.
Ms. Phillips gave up on the dirty lifestyle and wanted her relationship to work out with Mr. Gibby's. But Mr. Gibby's wasn't satisfied, even when Ms. Phillips was having a hard time with her family about it.
In your statement to the court, you also talked about text messages.
I had went to jail for about 2 months, and when I got back out, first thing I'm gonna do is go through your phone. Multiple dudes are in there making flagrant text messages. I'm horny for you, daddy, and all this other kind of stuff.
And that's a lie. It wasn't sexual.
Tit for tat is wild. These 2 grown-ups could have just ended the sour relationship instead of bringing an innocent baby into it. The baby doesn't deserve to be in their messy situation, but it is what it is.
Him, whatever, and we was getting into our relationship, he told me that he had been married before.
My wife at the time was living in Mississippi. We had been legally separated for almost 2 years at that point.
I have a saying, a man is married until he is divorced.
Yeah, true.
If there's anything worse than being messy grown-ups, it should be given to these 2. Mr. Gibbs is standing right there acting like he's not still caught up in a marriage as he hasn't officially divorced the woman. And Ms. Phillips is acting like it's the best thing to any and every man to pass in between her legs. This is really shitty. Maybe it's time to know if the innocent baby belongs to Mr. Gibby's or one of Ms. Phillips's side pieces.
2-month-old baby Jordan. Mr. Gibbs, this court has determined that you are her father.
That's it.
Mother and daughter in court trying to know the biological father of the additional member to their family is just a whole different ballgame. The supposed father in question isn't in any of the stands in front of Judge Lauren. How weirder can it be?
Today we have the case of Coe v. Coe, mother versus daughter. Miss Coe, you say you're here today because your daughter is an out-of-control teenager and she needs help. Furthermore, you claim that you have serious doubts that your daughter's boyfriend, Mr. Boyce, is the father of your 7-month-old grandson. You say Mr. Boyce has been a good father to the baby, but that your daughter has numerous sexual partners, and so he needs to know the truth.
Is Mrs. Coe trying to protect Mr. Boyce, who her daughter says is the father of her child? Or Mrs. Coe just hates the fact that her daughter is a promiscuous young lady, and she would see to it that no man takes her words seriously? This is a dicey situation. Mrs. Coe wants to desperately prove that the baby is not for Mr. Boyce, so let's see how that will play out.
Miss Coe, please tell the court why you're here today.
I'm here because my daughter is out of control. She has an issue with authority. She doesn't want to be told what to do, how to do, or why to do it.
Give me specific instances.
Okay.
From Mummy's words, Ms. Coe is completely out of control, like her mother said, and wouldn't listen to anyone. Ms. Coe should be really grateful. It was a police officer her mother knew because hitting a police officer is a crime and Ms. Coe wouldn't have gotten off easily.
Petition to the court, you stated something about damage to your home. Please tell me that.
She made a phone call saying that I and my girlfriend had jumped on her because she still did not want to follow house rules. All I asked her to do was not disrespect the house.
What? Ms. Coe sent a gang to destroy her mother's home and properties? This is way beyond control. That young woman needs to be ickies up alongside her gang friends. Who calls a gang on their mother, though? The answer is simple. Only Ms. Coe would do that. We will come back to her mother's girlfriend later.
Every window, that's my house. That's me standing on the porch trying to take a picture because now I'm upset and I'm like, you know what? I cannot believe my daughter is gonna allow this to happen.
And I couldn't believe your girlfriend jumped on me and I was pregnant.
So she didn't jump on you. They didn't jump, they broke out windows, car.
You didn't think they were going to do that. Did Ms. Coe call them to come help arrange their house or something? Talking about they took matters into their own hands. No, girl. You gave them the permission to do so when you called them to come to the rescue.
Is excessive,
Right
over
now,
the top,
she's really
and dangerous. I want to know, how did you get here?
Well, most children grow up with their mother, they're not their father. I grew up with my father because due to the fact she abandoned me when I was 2 years old.
I did not abandon you.
I was told she dropped me off when I was 2 years old and never came back.
Oh, it's an abandonment kind of situation judging from Ms. Coe's words. But her mother is saying she never abandoned her as she had visitation rights and she always came over on the weekends. Ms. Coe seems to resent her mother, but allowing a gang to destroy her property is crazy.
Them boys in our house.
If y'all had a problem, y'all would have put them out. If y'all had a problem, y'all would have enforced the rules and put them out, did something. I'm a child, like you said, I'm a child. If it was a problem, you should have put them out. If I'm a child.
I need to clarify something on this. Ms. Coe, mom.
Moved the gang into the house? Ms. Coe was really on a roll. She has shown her mother all kinds of negative behavior while even disrespecting her personal space. That's just way out of line. No mother would appreciate that. And we can't even blame Ms. Coe for not training her because she wasn't even living with her till she was a teenager.
There was someone else. So when I find out she's pregnant, I go to the guy. I go to Larry. I say to Larry, look, as Zair's mother, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've got to be 100. I say you need to get a DNA test.
But as the girl, I was being real and I said, I'm not gonna lie, but there is a possibility. This baby could be someone else. I didn't just say you're the...
Zaire Coe's case is so complicated even her own mother doesn't know what to do about it. Ms. Coe moved the gang into her mother's house. The gang of 7 were having sexual relationships with each other still under her mother's roof. And everything's messed up now as Ms. Coe isn't sure about her baby's biological father.
Like, from the beginning, I knew it was a possibility, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? He made me grow more, you know what I'm saying, since he been around. Cause my mom, she passed away. Once I told her about it, you know what I'm saying, she just, oh, that's my grandbaby. She buying him everything. I'm like,
so your mom...
Mr. Boyce says he lost his mother. That's sad. Oh well. Mr. Boyce is hoping that the baby will be his. Can't say the same for Ms. Coe and her daughter, but it would be nice if everyone gets to know the biological father of the baby to make the problem go away.
Comes to baby Christian. Mr. Boyce, you are not the father.
This marriage can be saved if Mr. Roberts is the biological father of Ms. Wyatt's baby. But why is Mr. Roberts suddenly doubting the paternity of their little baby after they have been married for a short while? Let's find out.
Ms. Wyatt, you claim that your husband, Mr. Roberts, is questioning paternity of your 1-year-old daughter, London, and it's driving a wedge into your marriage. You say that you got married after knowing each other for only 2 months, and your husband is denying the child only to hide his cheating ways. Yes, now, Mr. Roberts, you say that your uncertainty concerning Ms. Wyatt's daughter stems from the fact that her ex is still in her life.
It's never a good option when an ex is in the equation, and from the way Mr. Roberts has highlighted Ms. Wyatt's ex, it must have been a big problem in their marriage. Arms Wyatt's ex always being the safe space to run to during fights doesn't sit well with Mr. Roberts, and now he thinks he may be the father of their baby.
Now, Ms. Wyatt, describe the current state of your marriage.
Your Honor, our marriage is on the verge of divorce right now. First of all, he's denying our daughter, and I think it's just to cover up the fact that he does a lot of cheating. Like, for instance, one time I went to the store, and a neighbor, he's 17 years old, and he came to the car and was like, hey.
Miss Wyatt says Mr. Roberts is just projecting his own cheating personality on her, and that's why they are having problems. Mr. Roberts thinks Miss Wyatt smiling with a teenager may cause some ridiculous type of activities, but Ms. Wyatt thinks her husband is just being unnecessarily insecure.
Now, how old are you, Ms. Wyatt?
I'm 33.
And how old are you, Mr.
23.
Roberts? So there's an age difference between the two of you that's significant.
Yes.
Have you given him any reason to feel upset?
I never, ever, ever gave him any reasons to feel like he should be insecure.
So now, Mr. Roberts, you obviously have a different account. Tell me.
Well, first of all,
So who are we going to believe? Ms. Roberts says his wife is lying about him cheating on her, and Ms. Wyatt says her husband is lying about her bringing her exes over to the house after she sends him away. But sending him home like a little boy is ridiculous. That 10-year age gap is really doing something in their marriage.
That's more than one ex,
Right.
you say?
yes, it's 2.
And they're coming over to your house?
Yes. That's like it's like an example. You feel me? Like one time the tire went flat.
He couldn't fix
She
it.
had to go to the hospital.
He couldn't fix
She had to
it.
go to the hospital because it was like some issues with the pregnancy. So
Calling a mechanic or a taxi works better than calling your ex to come fix the tire, Ms. Wyatt. But considering the cost that would have been, Ms. Wyatt considered the option of calling her ex to help. You can bet on it that Mr. Roberts must have been raging with anger inside the house while the changing of tire was happening.
To believe that this child maybe is not yours.
well,
It
it was one more incident with my best friend.
Oh, what
And,
incident
like,
is that?
She said she was trying to do it to get back in, which it probably wasn't that serious to even go that far.
First of all, Your Honor, you know
I'm
what?
not
What
finished.
happened?
I was with him in the car, and he was like,
So it's a back and forth thing between Ms. Wyatt and Mr. Roberts. Ms. Wyatt was trying to get back at Mr. Roberts by talking with his best friend because he had also previously done the same thing with her friend. Mrs. Wyatt also mentioned how Mr. Roberts has been hovering around all the girls in town. That wouldn't end well, though.
The court that you found that your wife, Ms. Wyatt, also has online dating
yes,
profiles.
she does. Yes, she does.
Do you
Like
have any
the-
evidence of that?
Oh,
Right.
yes, I do.
Oh,
What is this?
Jerome, can you hand me that, please? What is that, Mr. Roberts?
I believe that's
funny.
Match.com.
Ms. Wyatt has a public dating profile? The only way that would be fair is if she had opened it after she had caught onto Roberts cheating on her, or he also has a dating profile. But if that's not the case, then Ms. Wyatt has no business talking down on Mr. Roberts.
Like I said, our marriage is on the verge of divorce. Yeah, I got into a marriage just after 2 months of us, but at the same time, it's going on 3 years, and he's not stepping up to the plate, and I'm getting tired of it. Like, I'm just getting tired. So yeah, I made the profiles because at some point, I'm gonna move on if he don't tighten up. I have 2 boys and a girl. I feel like I have 3 boys.
Telling your husband you're about to make a dating profile and him not giving a hoot about it just further proves the damage in the marriage is beyond repair. Any man would be concerned and react in a different way, but Mr. Roberts bounced out. That man seems to be done with Ms. Wyatt.
Don't be always the man in every time a problem go down, you throw him out like almost every week.
Your Honor,
like
you
every
get thrown out
problem,
every week?
Just about.
Everything.
How is he with your daughter?
I don't know. He's okay. He treats all the kids.
Mr. Roberts gets thrown out every week? That's crazy. Both parties seem to have their flaws, but Ms. Wyatt wouldn't even let Mr. Roberts complete most of his sentences. Ms. Wyatt wouldn't stop telling either. So it's preferable everyone hears from her judge if the 23-year-old who gets thrown out every time is the father of the baby.
Wyatt versus Robert. When it comes to 1-year-old London, Mr. Robert are her father. Exactly.
Mr. Hill got the chance to get a test on his alleged fully grown teenager and desperately wants to know if he's the one that fathered him, or Ms. Harris has just been taking him for a fool as he has a whole lot of money for child support for 18 years.
Mr. Hill, you have petitioned the courts for years to get a DNA test on Ms. Harris's 18-year-old son, Taman, because you've paid more than $50,000 in child support, but you're not certain he's your child.
Ms. Harris's argument is that the 18-year-old son is a spitting image of his father, and that's about enough reason for Mr. Hill to stop doubting the paternity of the child. While that's fair, it still doesn't mean he can't doubt the paternity if he's not certain about if he fathered the boy or not.
$50,000 in child support for a child you don't think is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, why don't you think he's yours?
Basically, she had sexual intercourse with somebody else.
Excuse me,
All right.
Your Honor. Excuse me.
Okay, so hold on. What, Ms. Harris?
He's a liar. A total liar.
Oh! Ms. Harris didn't even let Mr. Hill say his words to the last one before she cut him off, saying he's a total liar. However, Mr. Hill is trying to narrate to Judge Lauren how Ms. Harris had another sexual partner, most possibly within the time frame of the now teenager conception.
She slept with somebody
on
else.
numerous different occasions.
All right, but the point is when you were in your relationship that was supposed to be committed,
Yes, Your Honor.
she had sex with somebody else.
Yes, Your Honor. She told me numerous times. She basically, when I was with my ex, I was walking down the street with her.
A man not lasting long in bed doesn't mean he can't father a child, and that makes Mr. Hill's doubt about the paternity of Taman valid. Ms. Harris is there smiling and all, so we really need to know what's going on in her head.
I understand Mr. Hill's account, but I need you to fill in some of the blanks with your interpretation of the event.
I got pregnant, first in the delivery room. He was so happy talking about he didn't want to sign a birth
Excuse me, Your
certificate,
Honor.
jumping, hollering.
Let
I
her
got a
speak,
baby.
let her
He
speak,
cut
Mr.
the umbilical cord, everything.
Ms. Harris says it's the first time she's heard that Mr. Harris has doubts about their supposed son, as he was one of the most joyful fathers when the boy was born. But Mr. Harris mentioned again that he had been crossed once by another potential father of Tammond. One might think Tammond is a really lucky child as these grown-up men are fighting over him.
And tried to fight you. What other evidence do you have that she was sleeping with somebody else during the time Taman was conceived?
The always on the phone. I'm talking to her. She put me on hold for 5-10 minutes, something like that.
Mr. Hill believes that while Mrs. Harris was putting his call on hold for minutes, she was definitely talking to other men, and that corroborated his doubt about him not being the biological father of the 18-year-old boy.
Yes, Your Honor.
We get to the place where she's having the baby, though.
Right.
And you signed the birth certificate.
Yes, I did.
And you end up paying child support.
Yes, I was young and dumb, basically. I paid over $50,000 in child support, not knowing what to do, who to talk to, who to lead me and guide me in that right direction, telling me, don't sign the birth certificate since you have these doubts. Don't tell.
Probably Mr. Hill didn't go to Tammond's 8th grade graduation because of the doubts he had in his mind about the paternity of the boy. And Ms. Harris not showing up on court days and creating excuses for not proceeding with the DNA test just puts her in a negative light.
Regina Holmes, I'm LaToya's mother.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes, for joining us today. What do you know about this?
Mr. Hill, you need to be ashamed of yourself. Are you blind, Chris? Are you blind?
I'm not blind.
Do you see him, Chris?
That look exactly like
Do you see him, Chris?
Ms. Holmes just dished a different meal to Mr. Hill. Ms. Holmes turned the entire case upside down. Yeah, no one can deny the resemblance of Tamond and Mr. Hill, but it's not a crime Mr. Hill wants to clear his doubts about if he's the real father or not.
Thank you for being here, young man. I know this is hard for you to listen to, all these adults just arguing back and forth, but I want to understand from your perspective. What has this been like? Did you grow up with the understanding that Mr. Hill was your father, your biological father? Yeah. Were you ever told anything different?
No.
That's one of the saddest things we will hear on paternity court. Tamond doesn't have a relationship with father, and he's already 18. That's so unfair to the young man. Let's cut to the chase and know if Mr. Hill will realize he is messed up for not being a present father, or his intuition about not being the father of the boy will come to pass.
Versus Harris, pertaining to whether Mr. Christopher Hill is the biological father of 18-year-old Tamond Hill. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hill, you are his father.
Can I say something, Your Honor?